Nós temos que reviver a Zeplag, o maior fórum de Counter-Strike online. Eu amo o Perfect Scratch, o melhor.
Okay, guys, can you hear me? Okay, guys, can you hear me? Okay, just print plus if you hear, if you still watching the stream. I'll continue. Cool. Okay, so let's continue. So I need to actually provide the storage for each weapon information for clip size, from ammo type, etc. So I have the array of for each property. Every item in this array will be also the array, the dynamic one, and of course I can like use the size one of this array to get the number of weapons, but better to do just the increment index. We will call this I weapons num. It will be equal. So registering weapon will increment this weapon number, and for each weapon in this array, it should provide all this stuff. And of course, I have to initialize these properties because this like every item should be an array. So let's initialize to the function to initialize this init storages. And what we're gonna do here is we gonna provide we're gonna provide storage for each data. The only moment is the weapon name is like 32. I don't need it. I will better to provide the array with the cell size 32, which means this array will use to save the names, weapon names, max number of the letters will be 32, so max number of the characters possible. So, and of course we will call the init storages from the package function, and we also can init it here. And of course, because we like allocate memory for all of this stuff, we have to destroy this memory. So we do the free storages, and we're gonna destroy all of these arrays to free the memory. And we also should destroy this. And we will free the storages after plugin will like finish life after the end of the plugin. Okay, so all storages is initted and we can use it in the register function. So what we're gonna do here is the ID of the weapon will be current number of the weapons, and the we will also use the storages to push
Hello,
information. Hello.
stop the screen.
Oh, really?
Really.
Okay, let me. Okay, now you can see it. Okay, okay. So yeah, I actually what I did, I implement the init storages function to initialize all storages for the weapons. It will be array for each one. The name will be array with cell size 32, and of course I provide the function for the free the storage memory, and I do the free storages in the plugin init plugin end. So now we can use the storages, and of course I have to push the data to the storages. So we do the array push cell. I'll probably do this one. And of course we will provide data for each of these. So first of all, we need to provide weapon name. It will be not the push seal, it will be push string, and we will push the name of the weapon. The primary ammo type will go here, the ammo amount here, etc. The slot ID, I position, I weapon flex. Okay, the weapon ID, and also the weapon flex will be here. Okay, yeah, that's enough. So, and of course, because we have the ID, we have to provide this ID to the global tree we will use to obtain the registered weapon ID by the weapon names, by the weapon name. So now the register is working, and next function we can implement is called the get weapon handler, I think. Yeah, this one. So let's provide this function. So the only parameter this function actually accepts is the name of the entity. So we just need to get the name and return the handler, the ID of the weapon from the tree. It's super easy to do. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a new variable for the ID, and we're gonna get the value from the tree. And this function returning only the result if it can get the item by this key or not. So what we're gonna do, we will use this tree, and we go to search for this name, and we will get this information from this key to the ID variable, and we will return it. But in case we can't do it, we will just return -1, which means invalid weapon ID, because all ID will start from 0 in this case. So next we're gonna do. So now we can actually try to log it somehow. So let's try to get ID of the existing weapon, this one, and weapon we don't register. So let's get weapon test equals a CV get handler, and let's try to get handler for this weapon, and also let's try to get handler for the weapon which is not registered. And for this case, it should be -1. For this case, it should be 0. So let's try if it's work. Okay, that's not working because I didn't provide the plugin to the plugin list. So restart again. Yeah, that actually worked. The only problem I can see my cursor. So here is the logs. So we can see the weapon test is 0 and the unregistered is -1. It means for the unregistered weapon, we get this result, which means this weapon is not in a list, in the register list. So it's working fine. So next function we have to do, we actually should somehow process in these weapons and give it to the player. So let's think which function we will implement next. So from this list, the deploy the hosters, it just reloads, it just default function. We will not provide it right now, but maybe we will default reload, get player, remove player item, give I. Okay, the give weapon is actually good to start, I think. So let's implement this one. So we're gonna do this. Give. Cool. And the first argument of this native will be the player ID. And the second one is weapon to give. So how we actually can give weapon to the player? So let's actually find the old function and check if we can use this implementation or it's just outdated. Because this API is kind of old. Okay, so yeah, here is how we can give the weapon to the player. I think this code is still okay. I mean, there is nothing like too bad here. And we also can see like we have the spawn weapon function. Get data, the weapon ID. Okay, so we use a create entity here, and we use the global storage of the weapon IDs, which this one. But in the IMX Modix, new version of IMX Modix and of the new version of Reaper, we don't need this. So we can just get the get weapon name by ID, which also like good enough. So we don't need this storage absolutely. So let's implement the spawn weapon function. I will let me see. Okay, yeah. So what we're gonna do here is to implement this function. So let's do spawn weapon. And the argument will be the weapon ID, or even, I don't know, the string value. No, I think the just the ID will be good, just good enough. So how to do it? So first of all, we have to get this data for this ID. So we're gonna get the UI weapon ID equal array get seal. So now we have the Counter-Strike weapon ID, which we can use to get the name, the class name of the weapon. So we're gonna get weapon name. We provide the weapon ID, and we provide the variable to get this. Cool. And now we can use this class name to actually spawn the weapon. So let's use the reAPI functionality. Of course, we have to include the reAPI, actually, include reAPI, and I will probably include the fake meta and the ham sandwich models because it's useful. So, the spawn weapon. Okay. Create entity, and we use this one. Should we use hash table? I think yes. And let's store it to the p weapon variable, and of course we can like spawn it. Or should we actually? Yeah, we should. Okay. So now we will spawn the weapon using the class name of the weapon, but it should be custom, yeah, in the future. And what we're gonna do is next we have to provide actually the information about this weapon, but because I will use the classes, I will not store the custom handlers in the like in the variables of the entity. I will store it right in the class. So that's actually that's fine. So next function we need to provide is the give weapon actually. Yeah. So the give weapon is accept the player and the weapon ID. And to like try to make less mistake, yeah, to actually make less mistakes, let's do actually the enum which called CV, and it will only have the CV invalid. So we will use it for the custom weapons ID. So let's just replace it with the okay, and also so in case we will use the some wrong tag or some wrong variable, we will get the warning, which is super good. Oh, we already, so we have the tag mismatch, it's good, it's like awesome, and the only problem is I can understand why we so already destroy RG weapon. Oh, we're getting the tech mismatch because of this stuff. So we probably go nuts. Hmm. Okay. Okay, and now here. Cool. So we know it's all arrays. So let's fix the warnings because it's a bit confusing when you try to find the reason of these problems. So register weapon is accepting the plugin ID, the name, and the flags. Okay, the flags is actually without the tag right now. Symbol is not used, symbol never used, symbol never used. That's good. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so let's do the give weapon functionality. So the give weapon will, of course, despawn the weapon. And of course it's CV tag, and we're gonna like send it to the function. And next thing we should do to give weapon to the player is okay, add player item, attach to player, and emit sound. Yeah, that sounds good. But we also have to check if weapon is not valid. If the entity was not created, we just do the return. I don't see any reason to write some errors here because this function will not call actually if with the invalid weapon. We will like test it later. The flags. The flags is actually we don't implement it right now, so okay. And let's call this function from the native one. And to get the weapon by the name, custom name, we need to get it from this function. Let's move the functionality to the separate function. Get weapon handler. And we will do yeah, that looks better. Okay, and now we can use it right in this native. So okay, and give. Cool. Yeah, that's okay. And the actually tag of the return value should be CV because it will be. It's else. Okay, something failed. Okay, because the wrong name of the variable. Okay, we still have some warnings. I want to fix it, of course, because it kind of confusing to see it. The tag mismatch is okay. I don't want it. Is never used. Okay, so this warnings is because we don't use some variables, which we actually use. I don't know. And spawn function should return value. Why is it? Oh, because yeah, because we have to return the entity we created. Mm. Yeah, this actually looks a bit odd. And we have to return the weapon, of course. It should be CV handler. Okay, yeah, that's nice. Okay, well, we also have some iflags we don't use, and the icon we don't use. So the weapon icon, I don't remember. I think I use it for the killing icon, but it's not supporting the custom icons, but we still can like replace it to default one. So okay, the weapon flags and flags is kinda confusing names here. Let me just remember quick why I have two types of flags for the weapons. So the first flag is no bullet smoke. Okay, this probably just CV flags, yeah. And the weapon flags is actually what? Let me even I don't even remember. Hmm. Okay. Okay. That's That's French. Okay, let's ignore this one. This TJ icon. I actually think the icon we can add it to the our enum because we need it, and we have to provide the storage for this, and it should be 32 chars and destroy it. I think this is good. iClip size is also unused for a reason. Let's change. Okay, so also need to provide the clip size. Okay, and icon clip size plugin ID. Plugin ID. What the plugin ID? Never used plugin ID. Okay, yeah, this is unused. So let's do just pragma unused in case to just to remove warning for a while, because I will use these variables, of course, but I need to like time to implement this functionality. And also for the flags here. Clip size, iClip size, and the icon is actually string. Mm-hmm. Okay. Cool. Now we have no warnings. So let's try with giving this weapon to the player spawned. So let's use the ham sandwich to hook the spawn player function. and it of course will be post function because we need after player already spawned, not before the spawn. So public p player. Oh, and let's add the post suffix to this. And of course, the actually moment in the spawn function, because this function still can call even for the dead player. So when the player join the spawn function will will be called even this player is dead and it will not respawn him. So we have to check the if player is alive. And if it's not, we just do the return. So next one, we will test actually cv-give function, give weapon function, the weapon we want to give the player and the weapon we want to give. Okay, we want to give player the test weapon we just registered. So let's try to do it. And we get it. So we get this weapon, yeah. It's still like not custom at all, but at least the give weapon is working. So now we can start working on the overriding the base weapon information. The only moment here right now, we still not implemented the class in inherit functionality, and of course we will. So what I'm gonna do here, I will add weapon class, and of course I need storage for it, and of course I have to free it after plugin end. So every time we register the weapon, we need to provide some class for it. So yesterday I finished the utils to make some classes for the weapons. We actually create the classes like in C++ or other OP languages. So I will use it, of course. So we will set the class and we will just provide the new class using the class create function. And I should include this utility file. Mm-hmm. Okay. Argument type mismatch. Oh, because push string. Okay, so symbol is never used. Class add params. Okay, that's because this stock file is still a work in progress and I didn't provide some key values also for the class instance. Should be stock and okay, I hope that's good. Okay, validate params also not stoppable. Okay, no warning. Cool. So we also can provide the inherit functionality right now, because for each entity we're creating the class using this. So in case we want to extend existing weapon, so we can register the custom weapon and then extend it with extra functionality. So I gonna provide also the base weapon. It will be equal to the null string because it's like not required field. but we will add it to the argument list. So okay, and of course we will add it here. So now we can go to the include file and add extra arguments. And how to actually provide the inherit here. So we're creating the class. So if the base weapon not equal to the null string not equal, it means we want to extend existing weapon. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna provide the parent class. So let's do the class parent. Let's do the class C base, not parent. Let's use base, and it equals to the invalid class right now. But in case we have the base weapon, we pass the base weapon as the argument, it's not equal to the null string. We're gonna extend it, and how we can do it? We just can get the custom weapon from the list. We go and get a weapon handler by the CZ base weapon name. Base weapon. And from this weapon, we can get the main class. So we go in array get cell. We're getting the main class based on this ID, and we're getting it. Yeah, we actually that's it. So new cbase equals, and we just put it here. So in case we pass the base weapon and we want to extend existing weapon, we find in the class of the base weapon, put it to this variable, and create class with it, with this one. But in case we don't pass this, this variable will be invalid class. So we will not extend anything. So it always be here, but in some cases it will be invalid. In some cases, when we extended the existing weapon, it will be the existing class of the base weapon. Okay, so we right now can extend, which super nice. So for example, we can create weapon called foo and weapon called bar. Yeah, and we can pass the argument. For example, we want to extend this weapon bar from weapon foo, we can do it. And now we can change like this. Okay, arguments, it doesn't match the definition. Did I miss something? Actually, okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, now this. So we extending the this weapon from this weapon, registering this weapon. So every time we creating this weapon, it will be also like have the functionality of this one. So now inherit is done. Is super easy right now with this utilities I made. We can actually start implementing the custom stuff. So let's try to find the methods to implement next. So actually, I think deploy a hook would be nice. So let's do, first of all, we have to block all native stuff, like I did it in the old library. So every time I register the weapons, I try to block block the functionality. Let me think a bit. Yeah, all right. So now we have to change the spawn weapon class actually, because we provide the class, we have to create the class instance for the spawned weapon. So what we're gonna do here is we get in the class name by weapon ID. UC class the weapon equals. Let me just copy this. No, not this one. This one. And just getting the class for this weapon. And when we create the weapon, we have also to create the instance for this weapon. Class instance to weapon instance equals class instance create, and use the class we get. And now we have to store it somewhere in the weapon entity. So in previous version, I stored the custom information in the variable called which one? Oh, no, not the owner. Okay, one moment. Spawn weapon variable function. Spawn, or actually this one. Oh, it's spawn weapon box. It's wrong function. I need this one. So I store the custom information in the impulse because it's not using for the weapon. So I can use the same idea. I can do the set path p weapon, this one, and the instance. Cool. So now we can get the instance and the class by the weapon entity, which is good, of course. So let's also start with blocking the default stuff. So in here, it's actually kind of difficult to do. So I'm gonna copy it from the old version. Register. Okay, so we can see this here. Yeah, these hooks. I will just copy this method. Maybe here. Okay, the play empty sound and get item information is commented. I don't remember why I did it, but it is. A weapon hook, a weapon shoe. Don't remember what you're doing. I just need this. Okay. Get weapon name, register weapon hooks. Oh, okay, so this one is used to notify to the check if these hooks for this class is already registered. So I think I need the same stuff here. I will just provide this. So the only moment is I use the CSV last weapon +1, which means the max number of weapons will be like Counter-Strike number of weapon. But in case I want to do the ability to use this API in Half-Life or in other mod, I don't need to use these constants, and I have to provide my like value I just want. So let's do just the define max weapons, and let's do it. I think 16 for custom weapons is maybe enough. Yeah, so we can always extend it, but let's do it this way. Yeah, and this is much better. So, and we because this old API, I use this on prefix. Right now, I'm not really big fan of it. So let's change it to handbook a weapon. Yeah, and let's do some edits about the naming, because secondary attack. Okay, this naming looks good. So for each of these methods, of course, I have to provide the function. Post frame. Okay, let's see. Mhm. Mhm. Okay, actually, I think I don't need all this stuff here. I mean, I can just replace the. I can just do one function actually to function block the weapon weapon what weapon event, and here we just do return superset. So yeah, we actually deblock every function from the weapon. Let me just see. I think maybe one of these function can be used for the for providing the some custom hooks like get max speed. Yeah. Add player to item slot. Okay, let's just block all of these functions for the custom weapons, and then if we need something to extend, we will do it. So the only moment we have to check if the weapon is custom. So let's provide extra function called get weapon handler. Yeah, the get weapon handler is by the string value, but we also need to get weapon handler by the entity. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna get weapon handler by entity. Weapon. Okay, and that's how we do it. That's it. Yeah. So we just getting the value from the impulse. But I think it will be 0. So let's do a bit different, more complex stuff. So in case it's um, impulse equal to 0, we will just return -1. I mean invalid weapon constant. But in case it's not, we return this. Yeah, I think. Yeah, that should work. So what we're gonna do here is we gotta check if get handler by entity, get weapon handler by entity not equals to the invalid weapon. We do ham ignored. We don't need to rewrite the logic for the real for existing weapon from the native one, but we're gonna write it for the custom. Yeah. But the item post frame, it will be a bit different logic because we have to rewrite it, of course, but we don't need just to rewrite. We also need to provide the post frame functionality, which means like it's every time when weapon like doing something like sync, it checking for the if player is holding the left click, right click, or if the weapon in reload. So it's just the sync function for the weapon, and we will use it. I think. Let me check in old version. I think I use this function. Item post frame. I have the customized item post frame for custom weapons, of course, but I don't remember when I call it. Yeah, I call it right from the real hook. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna provide the same functionality, but with some difference because we will go do the call custom item post frame, yeah, in the future. Let's mark it as to do. So okay, we have like bunch of errors here, and let's see why is it. Uh, Invalid. Okay. Undefined invalid is actually should exist or not. Oh, I see the problem here. So it should be CV invalid. The wrong name. Okay, still some errors. Redefinition of constant macros. So the problem here is this variables is already in use. So let's do it max custom weapons now. And let's do the okay. Okay, that's good. And cool. So that's actually working right now. The only problem we don't like doing not calling this function. So let's do it from the every time we register a new weapon, we will call the register weapon hook, and we will send to the weapon ID for this. Yeah, and in case we also have to check the class name, because if weapon ID is invalid or it with some different mode which not supported natively by IMX the class name will be now string, like empty string, and we have to check it because in this case we should not register these hooks. But yeah, if we not register this hook, it probably will not work. And okay, I mean, let's do this. Let's do if the class name equals null string. Null string. So we will do what we're gonna do. We can set failed state, and we're gonna send in like weapon ID is not supported. That's it, I think. Yeah. We actually don't need to do return here, but I will do because it looks less confusing actually, because actually the failed state will pause the plugin. So return is not required here, but I will do it for the consistency of the code style. Oh, okay. I saw some question people asking if they can use new wrapper function. Spawn grenade create weapon box. Weapon should grenade box. I mean, yeah. I mean, you still can use this from the API. I mean, if you're using the API functionality, you probably can use the RAPI functions, of course, in case you don't want to write your own functionality or you're not okay with the functionality API will provide you. So yeah. Yeah, about the using the structure and custom property, that's what actually I'm working on. So the new version of the API will support the custom variables for the weapons. So you can provide any variable you want by just string name. Let me also see maybe some questions on the the delivery actually no one watching the live streaming. Okay, no one actually watching the stream from the YouTube, I think. Okay, no one actually watching the stream from the YouTube. Okay, let's continue. So now let's try to test the how actually blocking the default function of the weapon works. And I think it's absolutely not. So we can see some errors in the game console. So here is like invalid index count 2, and there is absolutely no information about the actual line of code. It's because we need to provide the debug flag for the plugin. So we're doing the debug and debug, yeah, and after the restart, it should work. Okay, now we get some information. So in spawn, when we give the weapon, we spawn it line 144. Okay, here. So okay, I using the wrong variable. I should use the iWeapon because we're getting the data of the custom weapon, not of the native one. So yeah, that's the problem. Mm. Okay, and now we get the weapon, and it's still not blocking the functionality. Okay, that's because let me see. So in the blocking functionality is we go into the primary attack and we go into the hook. Mm, it's confusing me. So add player. Okay, it actually looks like this function is not called. So let's just quickly debug it. Oh, it's actually working. Yep, it is. Cool, it's actually working. So this function is actually called. The only problem is, I think it's maybe related to the. Okay, it's laggy because I do the logs a lot. So I don't understand why why it's not blocking the native functionality of the primary attack and other stuff. Because it should be, it should block it. So let me, maybe it because it's not um, it's not going through this condition, it's go to the ham ignored. So let me see, maybe the impulse is resetted. Yeah, it looks like. Yeah, it looks like. So this is going to the ham ignored. By why it's going to the ham ignored? Because the get weapon handler by entity is working incorrectly. The weapon is red. It's because it's like blocked the main functionality of the weapon. So what's it's actually item slot post frame. So we blocked all of this stuff. We even block the add to player function, which we don't need to, and we even block the we even block can drop is okay. We even block the spawn function. We don't need block spawn function. Deploy holster. Yeah, this one is okay. Other function we have to block. So let's try this without the blocking. Okay, now we have custom weapons. It has no like model, but it's custom. So the custom weapons already working. It's not shooting. It's like not change anything. So we have some base to work with. That's good. So now we have to provide some functionality to bind the weapon events and provide the custom item post frame. So let's do the public. Oh, actually, this symbol will make the function public by default, so we don't need to provide the public keyword. It's not needed here. And we're gonna provide the item post frame function, and we will use this keyword. And here we will code our custom logic. So let's check the old one on client data. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is we do complete reload, secondary attack. Okay, the question is actually how to provide the deploy. First, what I want actually to hook the deploy event. So weapon deploy is actually calling from the on item deploy. Oh, you see. So we also need to provide the hook for this. So item deploy is going to unhook weapon deploy. Yeah, let's do this. Because also as for the item post frame, we need to provide extra logic. So we're gonna do this. I'm actually don't really fan of this large stuff, so let's replace it with because it's not. I mean, this actually looks ugly, I know, but it's saving a lot of time when you like a lot of lines of code because this actually no one needs this condition to see. You don't need like to read it. So we can do this way. So the custom deployment is actually set prediction to false. That's what we also will do in the future. That's logic just for the. Okay, so the only thing we have to do it is just implement the empty empty deploy function, and we will call a deploy hook from this function. So next step we have to implement is actually hooks for the weapons. So in the previous version, I used the bindings. I call it bindings. So I'm not sure if I need the use the same approach, because for the custom entities API you can like hook multiple events, but in the weapon items you like use the just the bind method, and you can bind it only once. So there is no like hook some events multiple times. So I will like leave the same naming, I think, for a while at least, but it will do a bit different stuff. So let's do the bind weapon function and so let's do it this way. So how we can bind it? So first argument was handler, weapon handler, then the binding, and then the callback function. So this is, I mean, this is okay, but I don't really like the idea of the handlers, using handlers here, because like no one use it. Yeah, I mean, the text, the strings keys is much more better for the understanding the code. So I'm gonna to replace it with this one, and we will do binding by the weapon class names, like we do it in the custom entities. And the bind function actually also accepts the function, this one, yeah, and the callback function. Callback, okay, and the function, I function. Okay, yeah, that's it. So we need to also provide the storage for the bindings. I mean, for each weapon it will be like different bindings, but for one weapon class it should be the same. So we're gonna provide extra binding information, weapon hooks, and let's do it like, I'll just copy this. Okay. Yeah. So next one, we're gonna do a storage from these bindings. So how we do it? We will do the for loop, and for each binding never used, that's fine. Undefined symbol binding. Okay, yeah, I forgot to rename this one. I'm not sure how to call it actually, so maybe this call the function, and let's do this EV function maybe. I want to do it similar to the custom entities actually. So let's check the custom and okay, custom entities const C function. So yeah, let's do the same way. Okay, I still have some errors here. Because what? Tech mismatch, undefined symbol p weapon. Okay, okay. Fine. Okay. Yeah, that's good. We're ready. So next function we gonna implement is we have register weapon, and now we get register weapon hook. Uh, for this one, we provide in the actually the name and providing function uh, plugin ID of hook of the callback and function ID of the callback. That's it. Cool. And let's also do the structure for the callback. It will be super simple. So the callback structure is the plugin ID and the function ID. Yeah, that's it. And we will use the structure for the array we created. So the cell size of the hook will be callback, like two items, the function and plugin ID. So now when we are registering the custom weapon hook, what we're gonna do, first of all, we need to get the weapon ID of based on the name. So we're going to cv weapon equals get handler, get weapon handler, and we gonna pass the season name to this. And next one we're gonna do is to get the hook array. So arg hooks equals array get cell. Okay, I'm a bit confusing right now because I think I did something wrong on the side of hooks implementation on the storages. Okay, let's do the weapon hooks and weapon. So when I register a new weapon, I do actually okay. Okay, yeah, I do absolutely bullshit stuff. So I only need to do it here. Callback. So the hooks will always be just an array with the callback. But when I register a new weapon, I'm going to okay, let me think a bit. So I'm already provided the hook for. Okay, no, absolutely not. So I need just the default array here, and it will be array of other arrays. It always be dynamic one. So every time I providing the providing the new weapon, I need to register it. So I doing the weapon hooks. Uh, and for each binding. Holy crap. For each function. So for each function, I do okay. Hooks function. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna for each hook I will create the array. Yep, probably this way. Um, mhm, mhm. Okay, yeah, that's actually yeah this way. So for each binding, I creating the new array. It's even compiling. Good. So now when I register the new hook, what I gonna do? It's mm, I getting this hook. Yeah, this hook to the array, and I just pushing this one to the array. So I gonna create a new structure which called callback, and I gonna set the plugin ID equals to plugin ID and function ID of course to the function ID. And then I just push this structure to this array. Push array hooks and the input. Yeah, that's it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's good. Okay. So and now we can just call this register hook function register weapon hook and pass the parameters. So name of the weapon, function we want to bind, and plugin ID and function ID. So the plugin ID is plugin ID, So it's just the plugin which native was called from, and the function ID we can get from the using the get function ID, and first argument is name of function to find it, and next argument is the plugin where we should find this function by name. So I'm gonna do this. So now, okay, we still have some. Yeah. So tech mismatch is good. It's always good actually, because this warning allow us to like work in these correct types, and when we don't, we can find this problem super quickly. The only moment is because the array actually, when you see when we go into array get cell, we can see that the item arguments cannot be any. It's like should be just the default integer, but the iWeapon has this tag, so we need to do this stuff to like just to remove the tag from it, to remove this wording. Because of course, if it would be better if the item has the any, because it's absolutely make no sense to limit developers with the tag for this. But okay, they do it. That's fine. The only problem it's like a lot of this stuff to remove the tags. So the index tag mismatch here is because what? Okay, so in this case, removing the tag will be a bit more complicated, I think. This one is not working because we need to remove tag of index. To do it, we can just do any now. That's it. So we just remove the tag of the of the index, because this function is like any input, but no, not any index type. Okay, so register weapon hook should work. So let's try to register something. No, not really ready, because we need to execute this hook. So yeah, let's first of all let's implement the execute hook function. We're doing the execute weapon hook function, I think. Yeah, and we have to provide the weapon in the identifier and the entity. Weapon, no, actually the function we want to execute, I function the weapon for which one and for the entity. But I think we can just provide the weapon and get the handler by the weapon entity for now. Of course, in case we will implement the inherit, we will do the extra stuff here. So we're gonna get in the handler from the weapon. And after we get it, we can start function execution. So we need to get the array of the all binding function or all hooks. We did it. We can do it the same way. And actually, this function can be called super, like a lot of time per second. Like, it can be 100 times per second in case we use the sync function call. So it's better to replace this with static. So we do static declaration and then assign the value. In this case, this variable will not recreate every time. It will be like global one. So it will not spend time to reallocate memory for this variable every call. It will just create it once, and then it will use the same allocated space. So that's why we do it, to make this API more like make the better performance. So when we get these hooks, we also need to get the number of these hooks. So we get an I hooks num, I hooks num equals to array size. And now we can iterate through these. So we're going to for new I hook equals 0, I hook less than number of hooks, and we do increment. So, and to get the current hook, we're going to we only need the plugin ID and the function ID. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna register the plugin ID, and plugin ID equals the array get. Sorry, let me. So we're gonna we're getting the function get cell. So we're getting from this array we're getting the current hook, and we're getting the it by block. So the block is actually callback plugin ID, and the same for this one. And now we can start calling our function. So we go in the call function begin, by function ID, by plugin ID, call func end. That's it. And we will push the argument to this function. It will be integer, and we just push the weapon entity. So that's how we doing our hook execution. And in case we do the deploy, in what we can do here, we can do the execute weapon hook, and we're gonna function deploy and p weapon. That's it. So now it should. We get some errors. Function deploy called different way, yeah. Okay, because it's CV function deploy. Okay, yeah, the function CV function deploy. Okay, so still have some tag mismatch problem because need to remove the tag from this stuff. And now we can try it with this logic. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna register hook for weapon bar. It will be CV. Let me. So let's move these bindings to the constant file actually. So we're gonna custom weapons const inc, and we just put it here. And of course we need this stuff to make not possible to import this file multiple times. Okay, it's CV binding. CV. Oh, sorry, not this one. We need the enum of weapon list. It's auto. No. Okay. Functions. Yeah, this one. CV functions. CV. So we will move this to here because it should be the interface. And we of course include this constant file from the API, and all function declarations should be this one. Let me quick fix the names. Cool. And now we will use this for the register hook. So we will remove this binding here, and we will register the hook using this stack right now. So now we can try to register it. So we go into the register for the custom weapon bar. We do the cv function deploy, and the callback will be weapon deploy. Cool. So I hope it will work. So public weapon deploy, going to this, and what we can actually do in the deploy function, we can change samples. So let's do some pre-cache. Let me find quick some custom maybe model for the weapon. I think I have a lot of them in the downloaded folder, so let me quick do it. Oh, I even have some flamethrower model. Cool. So I will use this one. So let's do the const gcz model view model. The view model equals, and of course we need to package it before we can use it. And now we can set this path. Oh, we actually we have to get the player. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna use right now we're gonna use the not reappear. I don't want to use reappear. So let's do the get and data, get and data entity, this cbase player item. The member is mp player, and the story to the player. So we getting the owner of the weapon using this. So we're getting the mPlayer variable from the cbase item class. And now we can do set path, the player path view model to async this way. Yeah, through the weapon model to yeah. So now when we deploy this weapon, it should be automatically replace the model. If hook work fine, let's. Oh, it's because new const, yeah. And cv function deploy. So I think from this part or from this file, we also should include the constant file, yeah, to make it include automatically. Okay, let's do the restart, and we can see we don't get the weapon. Okay, let me quick change. So we have some problem with register weapon because invalid array handler provided. I think it's related to the hooks. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna check the line 137. Because okay, I mean actually for each binding we have to provide it. Yeah, so I did correct stuff for it before. Uh, so for each array we have to provide the that's the extra array. Let me Yeah, correct. So we're just doing the for each weapon and Biden, we register a new array, and then we should destroy it, of course, after we like this way. Yeah, we just do it this way, and then we do destroy this array. Yep. And now we need to read from this array when we register the weapon. Yeah. Okay, that's at least we get the weapon, but we don't get the model hook. I think hook failed. So let's see the problem. So weapon deploy is execute hook function on line 229. Let's see. Uh, so what we get here, we get the invalid index. So this index is invalid. That's why. But no, I don't understand why its index like so high. Mm. So I probably didn't do this registration well. Um, it's still something in the register function because I still didn't like provide correct way. So what we do, this one is array. We're pushing the new array to this array. And we're doing through the push cell. Okay. So then we have to get so we need to get this array. Yeah, we need to first of all to execute the hook, we need to get the array. What we actually do here. So this one actually should work fine. This part, but it's not. Weapon hook. Mhm. Maybe it's because I push in the wrong function. Let me see. No, I'm not. Okay, so let's check the. Let's try to use debugger. Nah, it's not working. Okay, so So the problem is in the weapon ID. Oh, yeah, I got it. I got it, because what I actually do here, I return in not the I return in not the handler, I return in the private data. So I need to get the ID from this data, but before I can get it, I can like set it. So when I spawn the weapon, I'm creating the weapon instance, and what I'm gonna do is I gonna uh, hmm, oh, I can get the class. I can do it even earlier. I can do it in the registering method. So when I register the class, so let's do it here. So C weapon, it's class, and we create it. And when we do it, we can do the class stat member. It's like static member, C weapon, which is ID, and we will set the I weapon. Yep. And then we put this to the class. So to get the handler by the weapon, what we're gonna do, we gonna get the class from the instance. So the impulse is the class instance. So we're gonna class instance get class. And we convert it to the class instance, cast it. And we're gonna do the C weapon. Yep. And now to get the handler, we just go to the class get member, C weapon IID this way. Cool. Yeah, that's probably should fix the problem. It fixed the error, but it still didn't fix the problem. So we still don't have the view model. So let's check the deploy function if it actually called or not. So let's add some logs here. Log imx deploy test. Okay, so CV register. Oh, register hack. That's the bind. Sorry, bind. Yeah. Okay, we're ready. Okay, it doesn't call the hack function, which is bad, of course, but let's try to figure it out. So when we actually call the deploy function, when we call the deploy function, we go to the execute weapon hook, and let's see if it's actually working. Okay, so I get my debugger working right now, and I can see that the weapon. Okay, it's not really working. Yeah, at least I have the function ID, which is 2. The function ID 2 is this one, is deploy. So we calling the correct one is good. But I mean, there is no information about these variables. That's it. So at least we know that the function ID is correct and the weapon is also looks correct because it's seems like the entity ID. So yeah, I mean, so maybe it's because, okay, maybe it's because number of hooks. So let's see the real number. Okay, it's 0, so that's why. That's why it's not calling. So it's like not registered. So the problem is here. Oh, because you bind it to the wrong weapon. Let's do the bar. Yeah, that's why. So we don't bind this. Cool. It's actually working right now. I'll show you the game. So in case we restart the game, so our custom weapon finally have the model, which is good. So it's already working somehow. So yeah, that's working. That's nice. I mean, we already implement the hook system and we already implement the deploy function. So what we're gonna next is implementing other function, of course. I will just probably copy most of the parts of the custom loop, custom sync function from the old API because it's already implemented and I don't need like to re-implement it a lot. Item post frame. I need item post frame. So this item post frame is actually looks good. I mean, there is no reason to not just to copy it. The only problem you can see it's a lot of new declaration, but like it's not the best solution. And I will probably move the hook function to the weapon deploy method. And post frame. So I will replace all of this to the static because I don't really want to like make the code work slowly and relocate the variables every time. Cool. And reload time. So we don't need the reload function at all, so we can remove it. I will do it later. So the attack function is good for us, and the primary attack and secondary reload we can leave it. And now let's do the reload, the base reload run, and also weapon idle. Okay, the idle function is good. I mean, let's do the secondary attack also and primary attack. And reload. So all this function will just call their hooks. That's all we need right now. Secondary attack, primary attack. Oh, it's idle. Sorry, idle. It's primary attack and reload. And I think it looks good right now. The only moment we need to a bit change the namings. Oh, and should weapon idle is also should be implemented, yeah. But as I remember, it always returned true in the old version. always return false. Okay, that's like, yeah. And then use this. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's good. Shot fired is set to 0. I'm not sure actually. I need to rewrite these variables right now because I mean we still don't implement the logic of the weapon. So I mean this probably should implemented by the developer who implemented the weapon, but I will also provide the default stuff. So weapon I clip is now automatically reloads. Oh, these flags, that's what it means. So the okay. So I'll probably comment it for now, but in the future, yeah, we need this functionality. So reload idle. Yeah, that's actually so secondary fire on empty. Okay, get some errors here. Get handler by entity. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about because every time I need to write the extra length method. So I will probably rename it to the get handler by entity. I will rewrite it to the just get handler by entity because it's too long. And get weapon handler, I will just to change this name to the get handler. And then get data. Okay, so now we need to obtain this data somehow. So the handler is, it's probably iWeapon. The player is okay. We can get, oh, let's do the get player actually. Function. We can even copy this implementation from this one. Okay. In reload. Okay. Weapon data, clip size. Okay, now we're working with the data, yeah, here. So we need to get the information of the class of the of the registered ID. So we're gonna what we're gonna do here is we get the array get cell rg weapon clip size and the this one, yeah. So yeah, we can just use this. Do we use we don't use the weapon flag, so we can just comment it right now. Still have some errors. Uh, and because I called it IRG, yeah. But it's like IRG. Cool. Okay, tech mismatch. Yeah, that's annoying. Weapon not clip. Um, I don't remember where this one from. Is it constant of the custom weapons or of the? Yeah, that's actually from there. We can move it. Invalid handler is alright. Okay, now we don't have any errors. The only problem, we don't use this one. So we got some warnings, and next attack also don't need it. All right. Also, this one is not implemented. Cool. So now we have the primary attack, reload, and secondary. So let's try to hook this stuff from our custom weapon. And secondary attack and reload. And now we need to implement this. Oops. This. Let's just write something in a log in case we do this. Or don't even. Let's do the set the HUD message. It will be red one, and we do -1 to make it for centered, and that's it. And then just show the HUD message to the player. We need to show it to the player. So first of all, let's get the player. Yeah. Oops. I did it wrong. Okay, let me try it again. I don't understand. Ah, yeah, now it's good. Player, and what we're gonna do, we just show the function name to the player. Cool. So let's change to the game, do the quick restart. So I will try to shoot. Okay, and I don't get anything. It because I didn't implement, yeah, the no, I actually do. So we're getting weapon bar, the primary attack. So right now the hook is not like working. Deploy. They all like configured but not working. Okay, let's see. Oh, it's because I don't call custom item post frame. Yeah, I should call it from here because yeah, it's to do, still to do. Cool. Yeah, let's test. Oh yeah, now it's primary attack, you see. So I'm clicking on the left mouse on primary attack, the primary attack. Then it's like secondary attack, yeah. I'm trying to, and now I will try to reload, and I do the reload. Yeah, that's actually working. Yeah. So now the basic hooks is ready. I can use it. Why it's so long on the screen? Is it like something broken or? Uh, Let me also do this, and FX time, let's do it 1 second, hold 0, actually, hold time is 1. We can leave it. Okay, that's actually looks good. Okay, let's cool. That's working. Yeah, that's good. So we already implement this for hook. I mean, The only what I need to like do, it's implementing more hooks, implementing the some methods to set, but it's probably the base of the custom weapons API. I will continue to develop. I think for today it's enough because yeah, I'm a bit tired and I think you too. So thank you for watching. See you next time. Okay, I think we're done for today, guys. Did you understand something? Did you get something interesting for you? It doesn't call the hack function, which is better, of course, but let's try to figure it out. So when we actually call the deploy function, when we call the deploy, let's do the get player actually function. We can even copy this implementation from this one. Okay. In reload, yeah, it's like something like OOP. Yeah, I try to. I understand like in Pound it's not the way to do it because in Pound it's more like functional programming. Yeah, like, you just create the function and all in one file. But I think OOP is much better when you try to make some better structure of your project. So yeah, I'm trying to do this way. Okay, guys, thank you for watching. I think we can do it again if you want to, if you like it. So just put it, just write some message to the chat and let me know if you still interested. Maybe in case I'll continue working on this API a lot, we can do this stream again.